Hi, I'm Liz Hurst, Director at Wharton Business Consulting, and once again, I'm thrilled to be joined by Mark Griffin as we delve into the final in our three-part series looking at the correlation between purpose and performance. Mark, great to be with you again.
Yeah, third time. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me again.
Great. So the first article very much looked at to what extent does purpose really drive performance. Secondly, we introduced a model to help organisations actually discover and articulate their purpose. And now we're talking about how do leaders, how do organisations embed their purpose throughout everything that they do with the ultimate aim of driving towards peak performance. Now, I'm sure there's still a few skeptics out there that perhaps don't quite agree with the fact that purpose does drive performance. So what evidence is there to show that those organizations where purpose is really, really deeply embedded in everything that they can do, that they actually outperform those perhaps that haven't embedded their purpose?
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence out there, and without listing all of it, I point to a few that I think I really appreciate, which is one from Jim Collins's book Built to Last back in the early 90s, where he identified the fact that purpose-driven enterprises were outperforming the market by 15 times, and subsequent studies have shown similar things. Harvard Business Review and EY have done some really powerful exec surveys that speak to the importance of purpose that leaders recognize, but also they recognize how hard it is to actually embed throughout their organizations. And then Imperative and LinkedIn have done a study that evidences the fact that 74% of LinkedIn members, which includes me, want to work for a purpose-driven enterprise. And that includes, demographics of my age, not just the millennials and the Gen Zs that we know are sort of very much wanting to work in meaningful careers, and especially I'd say further amplified with COVID, with people having that space to really reflect. And then the other part of this, of course, is just looking out there, looking at companies that have done this well. I'd say Nike is probably one of the first well-known companies to really be driven around purpose, or performance has been driven around their purpose. But Airbnb, Tesla, that we talked about in previous articles, Patagonia is a clear one, obviously Allbirds. There's a number, but looking at those companies, they strive beyond profit, and profit ultimately is a byproduct of them motivating people to perform through this bigger purpose.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Just looking in the marketplace, you can clearly see that the figures speak for themselves in terms of the impact that then has on the performance of those organisations. So thinking about our article, throughout it, we introduce the model that is the purpose-driven performance model. So what exactly is the model and how does it work?
Yeah, it's just a simple matrix to try to take something that can seem intangible and make it tangible. And it does that just looking at two axes, essentially. One is cultural drivers. So the psychological things, the beliefs, the expectations, the attitudes, people's actual experience, and the actual actions that they undertake when they're at work. And then looking that across what I call performance drivers. So those would be things like principles, people, processes, products, etc. And the idea of the matrix is it enables you to highlight things that are going well, things maybe that you need more clarity around, or to dig in on, or just red flags and bottlenecks. There's things that are clearly just not aligned, and that particular area of the organization is not facilitating a clear implementation of purpose, and not really helping drive performance either. And that way you are able to highlight the things you want to build upon, the things you want to maybe just fix a little bit or tweak, and the things that you absolutely have to fix in order to increase your performance.
Thanks, Mark. And I think the model's a really great way actually of just honing in on what are the few things that actually, if done very differently, could ultimately really embed that purpose and drive performance. Because I think the challenge that we often find when working with organizations and leaders in this space is they are doing so much and actually potentially doing too much, which is then diluting the things that really can make an impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, focus where you need to make the most impact.
Great. Well, firstly, I just wanted to say a huge thank you again, Mark. I've really enjoyed collaborating with you on this series. The article will be available, and obviously the model in all its glory, on the website under the Insights section. And, if anyone watching this or reading the article would like to discuss how actually you can use purpose to accelerate your business, then please do get in contact. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks, Liz, and thanks everyone for listening and reading.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Speak to you soon.
Bye.